Hello everyone, welcome to Vidhigya Explained Series. Today's topic for discussion is Green Energy Corridor. So important points that we'll discuss that why this topic is in news, what is Green Energy Corridor intrastate transmission system, and then importance of green energy. First thing, why this topic was in news. So this topic was in news because recently the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the scheme on Green Energy Corridor Phase 2 for intra-state transmission system. So it has approved the Green Energy Corridor intra-state transmission system. So first thing you have to remember, it is intra-state, that within the state and not interstate. Not interstate, it is intra-state. So this is, so you do not have to remember, how much money, and that we will discuss later. For the time being, you just have to remember it is approved by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. But what is Green Energy Corridor intrastate transmission system? So it aims at synchronizing electricity produced from renewable sources such as solar and wind with conventional power station in the grid. So it is basically the energy which is produced by the renewable energy resources, by the renewable sources such as solar and wind. So this needs to be synchronized with the conventional power station in the grid. For example, these are the electricity grid. So this energy, the renewable energy also needs to be synchronized with the conventional power station in the grid. So this is the aim of Green Energy Corridor intrastate transmission system. So this is phase 2. So recently the phase 2 was approved. So when was phase 1? Phase 1 was launched in year 2015, 2016. 2015 and 2016. So about phase 1. So phase 1 launched in 2015, 2016. It is being implemented by 8 renewable rich states of Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Himachal, and Madhya Pradesh. So implemented by 8 renewable rich energy states of India, and this was launched in 2015, 2016. So these are the 8 states. And what was the target? The target is to install 9,700 circuit kilometer of transmission line. That is 9,700 kilometer of transmission line, and 22,600 megavolt ampere transformation capacity by year 2022. So it is a factual thing. You do not have to, like, there is nothing to understand. It's a factual information that you'll have to remember. So you just have to remember phase 1 in this year, and it was launched in this year, and these are 8 states which are implementing in phase 1, and these are the targets, and it has to be achieved by 2022. Now phase 2, which is recently approved by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. It is being implemented in 7 states. So this is in 7 states, namely Gujarat, Himachal, Karnataka, Kerala, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh. So these are the 7 states. Under this phase, the target is to install 10,750 circuit kilometer of transmission line and 27,500 megavolt ampere transformation capacity of substations by 2025-2026. So in phase 1, here phase 2, phase 1, phase 2. Target 8 states, 7 states. Target was 9,700 kilometers transmission line here, 10,750 kilometer transmission line, and here target was 22,600 megavolt ampere. Here it is 27,500 megavolt ampere target. So these are the targets, and we have discussed in which year it was launched earlier. Now Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs approved the second phase. Now why it is needed? That is why green energy is needed, why green energy is important, So first thing, along with these points, first we will discuss this point, employment. So with the green energy, you have to generate solar power plant, you have to manufacture solar power plant, hydro power plant, and then geothermal power plant. So it will generate employment. First thing will be employment. Global warming. So as we see, the temperature is rising, global warming increasing, and we see extreme events happening, extreme events like increased rainfall or prolonged drought. So because of this, because of release of greenhouse gases, the global warming, there is an increased temperature and global warming is happening. So in order to reduce the increase in temperature, it is important that we need to reduce consumption of fossil fuels. fossil fuels, which is responsible for emission of greenhouse gases. So therefore, in order to prevent, in order to stop, in order to reduce global warming, we need to shift to green energy. Green energy such as hydro, wind, solar, tidal, geothermal, biogas, all these, and energy security. So when we will producing green energy, which India also have potential to produce green energy, so we will, our dependence on countries such as Iran, Saudi Arabia, and other countries from where India imports oil, so it will secure India's energy security. We will not have to dependent on other countries for import of oil, because now we are producing green energy, so we can meet the demand of our domestic consumers in the country. Along with that, recently Indian Prime Minister in the meeting of UN United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, though there is a meeting of known as Conference of Parties. So in this meeting, Indian Prime Minister has announced following points. First, that India will get its non-fossil energy capacity to 500 gigawatt by 2030. So this you have to remember. This is important. So all these points are important. So non-fossil fuels energy capacity increase to 500 gigawatt by 2030. India will meet 50% of energy requirement till 2030 by renewable energy. Point 3, India will reduce its projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons by 2030. Point 4, India will reduce the carbon intensity of its economy by 45% by 2030. And finally, India will achieve net zero by 2070. So because of these points, it is important that we need to launch green energy corridor and other green energy projects, so that we can meet these points, we can meet the points that we have announced recently. And along with this, it is important that it will generate employment, will reduce global warming, and will ensure energy security. So that's all for this session. Now we'll proceed with the quiz section. So 5 important questions. Question number 1, which of the following approved the Green Energy Corridor Intrastate Transmission System Phase 2? Your options are Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Ministry of Science and Tech, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, none of the above. The correct option is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Question number 2, India has pledged net zero emission by which year? Your options are 2040, 2050, 2060, 2070. The correct option is 2070. Question number 3, India has a target to meet 50% of its energy requirement with renewable energy by which year? Your options are 2024, 2025, 2030, 2040. The correct option is 2030. Question number 4, Green Energy Corridor Intrastate Transmission System Phase 1 was launched in which year? Your options are 2015-16, 2016-17, 2017-18, 2018-19. The correct option is 2015-16. Last question, which of the following are sources of green energy? Your options are solar, wind, hydro, all of the above. The correct option is all of above. So that's all for this session. Stay logical with Vidhigya, your best pal in CLAT Preps.